So now a very important question. It is creating threads. How to create threads? So there are two ways, two methods to create a threads. One is by extending a thread class. Okay, you should see extending a thread class. Another one is implementing a runnable interface. So you can see the difference between, if it is a class, it is obviously extending. That is, an inheritance is done. When it is an interface, it is obviously implementing. So two ways. uh, why do we go for two ways? Okay, so we'll see this. So when I want to extend, what I can do, I can only extend, see here, when I go for an inheritance, I can extend only one class. Okay, I can have only class one. But when I go for an implements, what I can have interface 1, interface 2, interface 3, and so on. Correct? So, say for example, I want to extend a class in which extend and say J button. I want to have a button. You can have a button. These are a system defined class. If I want to extend a J button. Also, I want to extend a thread. See, if I want to extend a thread, it is not possible in Java. Yeah. So this is not at all possible in Java. Why it is not possible in Java? Because two classes cannot be, multiple inheritance is not possible, or two classes cannot be extended at the same time. So at that time, what do? I will go for extends, extends, uh, extends J button. Okay, everywhere you have an S, extends J button. Then you will have implements, implements thread. I can have it like this. So in other cases also, just now we saw an exercise. In that we can say extends, extends item. Okay, and I can have implements, implements thread. So if I give extends item and extends thread, it is not possible. That is why we are going for another one method by implementing the runnable interface. So now we will see how it works, okay, how to create these things. So the first method is by extending the thread class, okay. So what we should do? So to create the simple, this is my own class where I am going to show the working of a thread. So public class, main class. Okay, I'm giving the name as main class. What is the first step? I'm extending thread. So in this thread class, we have a run method already. So this run method, we have a run method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this run. Okay, I'm going to override the method. Okay, so what is overriding? I'm going to define or define my own own method. Okay, this is what I call it to be the thread method. Okay, this is the thread which I want to create. So what it's doing in my thread, I'm going to just print my thread is running. Okay, simple example no, initially, so I've given like that. Okay, so now for my class, whatever class I have created, what I have done, I've created an object, and see here, when I give start off is a method of the thread. Okay, start off is a method of thread class. Okay, thread class. Okay, it belongs to thread class, but now it is inherited in my main class. So when I give start off, this calls this start, calls this run. Okay, that is what, when start off is invoked, it calls the run inside. Okay, so inside the start you have the run. So what happens? The thread is started to run. Clear with that? So this is a simple example of extending thread. So we will see the next one. Okay, so the next one is, what is the next one? It is implementing the runnable interface. What are you doing? You are going to implement the runnable interface. When I say about the interface, what you have, interface don't have definition. Okay, interface, when I say, so let me write it like this. So interface don't have definition. Okay, so what I will do, I will have to define. So in the interface, so when I can say that, what is this? Interface don't have definition. So what I have to do, I have to define. So I will define my run off method. Okay. So why do I define the run off method? Because it is present within the runnable interface. Okay, so I write. So here, what I do, this is my thread. Whatever I want to write, this is my thread implementation. Okay, my thread implementation, I can say. Okay, so now this is my thread implementation. So now what to do here? Which class has got the start method? By calling the start method only, I can call my thread. So as I told you, when I use my start, what happens? It calls the run off method. So how to do that? So I definitely want my thread class. So I have created an object for my own class. Okay. And then what did I do? I have passed that object to the thread class. So now this creates a constructor. Yeah. So this is a constructor. Inside the constructor, the object of my class is passed. So now this is passed here. So I can definitely use this, what I'm using, the object of thread. As I tell, when I use the t.start, it calls the run off method. So here, as I tell, implement the runnable interface. Yeah, this is the first step. Okay, so I can just show it like this. This is my first step. Okay, this is my number one, I can say. Implement the runnable interface. Then what I do, I will define my run method. Okay, then run is the entry point of the thread, and the thread will be alive till run finishes its execution. Thread goes to running when start is called. When does it, when it is going, when start is called, it goes to the run. So this is how implementing runnable interface works for thread. Okay, thank you.